Well, staying with water, more protests in Phoenix near Durban over the last few days. Residents demanding that the mayor of eThekwini, the ANC's Mxolisi Kaunda, leave his post. They say he's responsible for the huge water problems in that area. Last week, Verulam residents said they'd actually been without water for up to 3 months in some regions. Miyelani Holeni is the group chief advisor at Newzroom Consulting Group. Miyelani, good afternoon to you. There's so many different problems around water at the moment, particularly in metros like eThekwini. I mean, eThekwini is a big metro, but does it actually have the resources to manage its water properly?
Well, I think we need to observe the fact that, on the one side, in fact, the major issue here of water is one that has always been coming with regards to the various warnings from different experts around, the shortages of water, the fact that we're a water-scarce country, and the fact that there's infrastructure that is required way beforehand to deal with the movement of water from point A to B, as well as the other complex connections along the line. So the eThekwini Metro has always prided itself with being able to supply water to as many communities in its surrounding area. So I think it comes as a wake-up call that they are facing these major issues, as cited, by the fact that there's population growth, but even more disturbing is the fact that there are water leaks with regards to water losses that are coming through. So it's a wake-up call, certainly, coming through from this kind of protest that the residents are embarked upon.
I mean, it now appears the Water Affairs Ministry, so national government, wants more power to intervene or regulate the way cities or metros manage their water. Would that make any difference?
Look, I think the issue here, we're not talking about regulations. We're talking about capability. The Durban water for many years, as I've cited, has been run very well. So the issue is that there perhaps has been an erosion of that capability that has always run the function of water so well within the city. But I think citing the issues that have come out with regards to the repairs, to the water reservoirs that are there, the destruction of the valves when the reservoir was being recommissioned, and all of that. I think it speaks, to the very issue of the capability of a municipality is to purify water and supply it to the community. So I think it's from a water affairs point of view, they've got bigger problems that they should be dealing with from a water catchment point of view, from farming communities that are using waters and industry that are using water that are not able to pay for that particular water. So the competency of a municipality with regards to supplying water is one that I think should be supported, should be at least enhanced within the municipality. I think what the issues are that we are seeing is the issue of infrastructure neglect, the issues of maintenance on the municipal infrastructure, and the issues of delay with regards to building a future capacity to carry water. So those are the three core issues that are plaguing the lives of eThekwini Metro, as well as possibly other metros and municipalities around the country.
The other thing is that infrastructure is simply crumbling. It's old. We've had huge population growth. There's more need. And municipalities, eThekwini and others, simply won't have the money to fix that.
And I think the core issue as well is exactly that, because if infrastructure build is not undertaken at the pace that it should, at the time that it should, it's very difficult to catch up with demand, because demand, obviously, according to population patterns, according to migration or inward migration into cities, is something that is not always easy to predict. So, and here's an issue that we put forward. Financing of infrastructure, particularly water resources, is one that is lagging behind within the country. And if we look at the capital budgets of municipalities, given the fact that we've had COVID, they've also been reduced quite significantly. So CAPEX from a municipal water infrastructure is lagging behind, and there's no new CAPEX that is coming through. And I think the issue then says, where else can these funds be sourced? And we have the likes of the DVSA, we have the likes of the other DFIs, that are able to provide, financing of such infrastructure. But we also have the private sector, and I think one of the things we're seeing with the infrastructure generally globally is the fact that the private sector is increasingly playing a major role with regards to supporting government with infrastructure build that is required, because there's new infrastructure, but there's also repairs and maintenance to the existing infrastructure, as well as refurbishments in some places. So I think the government should be reaching out more, and rather not looking at regulation or policy, but looking more at partners that can support the rollout of infrastructure.
In the end, we have many communities that are just very angry. They don't care how it's done, and why should you? I mean, if the water works, the water works. If it doesn't, it's utterly disastrous. Is there any indication that things will improve?
Well, I think things have to improve. I mean, we also know that the city of eThekwini has taken delivery of an additional 100 water tankers. I mean, that's a huge amount. If you look at the capex or whatever the expenditure that has been incurred in getting the 100 tankers, but that in itself is not the solution. So it looks like if the main problems of repairs and maintenance, planning of new infrastructure build, as well as the financing of that infrastructure are not addressed, we'll end up with short-term solutions such as getting water tankers. And if, as you have visibly seen, the communities are rejecting the issue of being supplied water from water tankers because of the fact that there is infrastructure that goes straight into their homes. So there is hope if there is at least a public-private partnership of sorts in the various forms that it can be hashed out, but to involve, partners who have at least the financing muscle as well as the capability to build that infrastructure. So in the short term, we do understand that there's repairs that must be done to various, lines and valves and so on to create, the water flow. That is where the issue of expertise comes in, as well as including other players that have expertise that can support the municipality in the short term. But medium to long term, is the finance, the build of new infrastructure, as well as the financing of such, and as well as a stringent program of repairs and maintenance that must be effected. So we have no doubt that the likes of Devon Water should be able to get on top of issues such as this, because they have been a world-class supply of water before. But right now, it's a position which they should not find themselves in.
Miyelani Holeni, thank you. Group Chief Advisor at the Newzroom Consulting Group. Really appreciate the time.